thanks to this week's sponsor, Jackery. Hey there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and unique homes. Homeownership is an important part of every adult's life, but in recent years, with skyrocketing prices, becoming a homeowner in your 20s has been practically impossible. But in today's video, we meet a young couple that was able to build their first home together. And of course, it's a tiny home. If you like these kind of videos, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know every single time we publish a new video. But right now, let's take a tour of this young couple's tiny home.
Hi, welcome to my home. This is Falluthran Tiny. My name is Nicole and I live here with my husband Jamie. We finished building the house in April 2020. We started our build in April 2018. So after 2 years, we have now been in here an additional 2 years. So it's been quite a process of building. We first became interested in tiny homes probably at least 5 years ago. Before we started building, I had kind of found them on Instagram. We watched all the shows and it was really enticing. Living in Massachusetts, it can be really hard to find housing that's affordable. As a young couple, as young people, we really want to be in the area, but it's expensive. So this was a great opportunity for us to own our own home, have no home debt. We built this completely out of pocket. And it's allowed us to have a really great foundation to start our lives together and to be able to save to eventually have land in a slightly bigger home. Before we started our official build, Jamie had done a very extensive Google SketchUp that really placed out every scrap of framing, every piece of siding, and we were able to tweak it as we went along, but we really were able to minimize build waste. For the build, we really wanted to stretch our money as far as it could go, so we decided to do as much ourselves as we could. We ended up hiring out the insulation job, electric we had help with, and we also had a family friend help with the propane lines, but other than that, we did everything ourselves. So Jamie and I met in high school, so we are high school sweethearts. We've been dating for almost 13 years now. We've been married for almost 3. Moving in was our first time moving in together, so I kind of like to say we didn't have any bad habits to break from a larger space. We kind of moved right in, coexisted really well in the space. We sometimes bump into each other in the kitchen, but other than that, we really have found our groove in this 300 square foot home. So for the outside of our house, we chose to do cedar siding. We liked the quality of the wood. We like how it ages. We really wanted to do the Shosugi-ban method on the house. It helps with pest control. It makes it less flammable. It was definitely a labor of love. It's a long process, but we really love how it turned out. And the two-tone of the house really pops. Moving along this way, you can see where our water input is. We fill up about once a week our tank, and this is the vent for our incinerating toilet. Moving along this way, you can see where our electric input is. We just are hooked right up to my parents' house next door for now. We originally were hoping to do solar panels, but it was a little too expensive to do right after building an entire house. So this is good for now.
This seems like a good place to talk about my personal experience with solar power in my tiny house. And we're gonna do that thanks to this week's sponsor, Jackery. So I'm inside of my tiny house right now without power, and I wanted to see if the Jackery Explorer 1000 could power my entire tiny house. So what I'm gonna do is plug it in and see if anything turns on. All of the lights came on in my tiny house. One of the heaters, I heard my Bluetooth speaker power up. I also have a refrigerator running and the fan to my composting toilet. And it looks like we're using about 650, 660 watts of power now. So if it was a nice sunny day, I could plug my Jackery solar panels into the Jackery Explorer 1000 and it could receive power at the same time that it's powering my tiny house. And of course you can still plug the unit into the wall or into your car charger, so there's multiple ways that you can charge. You don't have to use the solar panels, but it's nice to have that option. Jackery is unveiling their new product, the Jackery Solar Generator 1000 Pro, at the IFA Expo 2022. The first 300 people to pre-order will receive a free gift. So follow the link at the top of the description to find out more about this exciting launch and for a chance to win a flagship product. Now let's get back to the tour.
Moving along this way, we have our propane shed right here. When we got our trailer originally from Tiny Northeast Foundations and Trailer Made Trailers, we specifically asked them to do this bump out on the trailer, and it allowed us to bump out our secondary loft inside as well to create a little more storage space. We had a bird nesting in here this spring, which was a new addition we weren't really excited about, but we let it stay. Moving on to the back side of the house, we really wanted this to be a really dramatic kind of moment. We got some inspiration from a lot of tiny houses online to kind of create this pattern here. We wanted the windows to have a different kind of pop to them, a different kind of trim. We did also get these metal plates for our trailer for the jacks. We were finding that it was sinking into the ground because it's obviously very heavy, and those have done a really great job. So when we built the house, we knew we wanted a lot of really nice big windows to let in a lot of natural light, and also our surroundings are just beautiful. So we wanted to really take advantage of that. All of the windows we got were stock size, so we didn't have to wait very long. We have 10 windows total. One of them was a hand-me-down, was free. Everything else we got from a company right in town here where we are. All right, coming into the house now, the first thing is the door. This was a wedding present that my uncle made us. The art has been a favorite feature of mine, but also has made making the trim and finishing this piece a little tricky, which is why 2 years in, we're still not quite done here. And we also, when you step in, have a step down, which is where we've put all of our shoe storage under here. We wanted to take, use every piece of space that we could coming in. I knew I wanted it to feel kind of like a nook and enclosed and cozy. So we have a nice big TV here. We've got art everywhere from our travels and from going around. We kind of spend a lot of our time here watching movies, hanging out. This is one of the IKEA sleeper sofas, so we have had a total of 1 overnight guest, but it's nice to have that option. Another thing that was really fun to work on was this dresser. This is a dresser we found on the side of the road just down the street. Jamie ended up cutting it and kind of piecing it back together again. And then from the pieces that we cut off, we made some of the shelving around the house that you'll see, and it's served us really well. It's most of our clothing storage is in here. So one of our heating sources in the house is this Dickinson Marine heater. We don't use it super frequently just because the flame doesn't always stay on, which doesn't feel the safest, but if it's a really cold night, it's great to turn it on and really heat up the house. Otherwise, we just use electric heaters, and that really is fine for the space. I've got a lot of books in the house. I'm a bookseller. I love to read, so that was important for me to have that kind of storage in the space. Another big feature we knew we wanted in the house was storage stairs. I know a lot of people like a ladder to kind of save on floor space, but we knew that we weren't going to have a lot of other storage options in the house. So Jamie designed these stairs by himself. We used walnut plywood and then a walnut trim finish to kind of make it look a little more finished. So each space is fully used. I've got letter writing, we've got our clothing storage, tech gear. They pull in and slide out. Another great thing is it kind of doubles as counter space when we're doing any sort of cooking. This is perfect for my height and kind of is a nice surface to add a little bit of space since our kitchen isn't huge. Another great thing about them is it's really easy to get up into our bedroom loft, which is up here as well. But we sunk the bedroom loft down, which is why it's so deep up there, so the bed sinks into the framing. So we climb right onto the mattress. We don't have any hard wood that we're climbing on. Jamie had broken his leg 6 or 7 years ago now, and so it's still kind of painful for him to crawl on that leg. So we knew that that was a priority. And so easy access up and down helps with that as well. All right, so now we flipped around so you can see the kitchen a little bit better. On this side of me, we've got our pantry space and our countertop. This was also another special piece that we found. We got this slab from a local person in Massachusetts, and it spans the entirety of our kitchen. We've got a piece at the end that lifts up so we can fill our water tank from the top if that needs to happen, or if there's overflow and we need to clean up. And then we moved all of our plates, bowls, special pieces up onto these shelves. These are some of the shelves that we made using the top of that dresser from the living room. Some of the other things in the kitchen to note, our toaster oven. We knew we didn't necessarily need a microwave, but a toaster oven was a need for me for sure. This is our water heater. It is a propane water heater. Moving to finish the kitchen, we've got our fridge. It's not quite a full size, but it's plenty of room for the two of us. We also bumped it up a bit so we had some storage underneath. So under here, we've got pots and pans and things. We've got an Instapot on the top, really using all of our vertical space. We have a full-size sink. We didn't want to compromise on the sink space. We really wanted a nice large sink so we could fit our drying rack in here, and I can water my plants with plenty of room. We've got this beautiful wood burn sign that my friend Micah made for us. We originally were thinking we might do tiny house fairs and things and really move around, but we decided that it's a small house, but a big thing to move, so. We also knew we wanted an oven and a stove. We do a fair amount of cooking. We cook in most nights of the week. The backsplash was another thing that we really wanted to spend some money on. I used fire clay tile, which I love. I think it's a really special piece. We do have a vent hood as well, and our cabinet above hides the kind of components of that, and it offers a little bit of storage too. These doors and all of the drawers in here, we were originally going to hand build, but after 2 years of working on the house and pushing so hard to get it done to move into, it was one thing that we were okay hiring out. So these we just recently put in a couple of months ago. It's really nice to have drawers in our kitchen now. I feel like a real adult when I'm excited over drawers, but here we are. One of the lofts is for our bedroom. The other one is a lot of storage up there. Part of the bump out from the outside, we get an extra foot of storage up there, which is great. All right, into our bathroom. This is a smaller space, but we didn't really want to take up a lot of real estate in here. It's just enough room for us to get what needs to be done. We have an incinerating toilet, which we were going back and forth with what kind of toilet to use, but we wanted one that was kind of the least maintenance possible. Flipping over to the other side of the bathroom, we have our shower. We have a nice big space in here. We have our ladder that we use to get up to the secondary loft, not the fanciest, but definitely the most convenient. For the shower, we ended up going with this Versalite tile. It is a stone finish, but it is very light. We really were concerned about making sure that our weight distribution was good, and that really saved us a lot on weight. Another special feature that we added was this extra storage space back here. This has our extra household things. It has tools. This is because of that extra bump out on the outside of the trailer. We were able to really get a lot of usable space back here with this feature. I think overall we spent somewhere in the ballpark of $30,000 for the house. We do have a bag of receipts that we've yet to go through. Our favorite part about living in a tiny house is definitely being able to own a home in our late 20s. We have a home that will always be ours for as long as we want. We can move it if we need to. It's really freeing to not have mortgage debt yet. Eventually that will be something that we take on, but it's nice to have our own space that feels like us, that we can really be in and not be super rushed into our next step until we're really ready.
I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Make sure that you check out that link in the description to be one of the first to order Jackery's new product and receive a free gift. And I will see you soon with another tiny or unique home tour.